Hi, this is Megan with Beadaholique, and today I'm going to show you how to make a beaded macrame wrap bracelet. And this is the version with the beads on the inside. So these are two of our exclusive kits, and there is another version with the beads running along the outside, so make sure that you are watching the right video for the kit that you have. And the materials that come in your kit are a tube of size 6/0 seed beads, a spool of waxed linen cord, and a button. So we've got a couple of the different options here. And you're going to be able to make however many wraps you want on that bracelet. So here's an example with 2 wraps. I'm going to show you just 1 wrap for the purposes of a demonstration. So some other things that you are going to need is a pair of scissors and a ruler. And you're going to need some way to affix your work to your work surface. You can either use a macrame board, which is a really handy tool, or you can use a clipboard, or you can just simply tape your work down to your work surface as long as you've got a work surface that you're not worried about damaging. Go ahead and use a tape that's not going to leave any sticky residue on your piece, because you are going to tape right across that at some point. So I'm just using masking tape. So the first thing we need to do is figure out how long our cords need to be. What you're going to do is you're going to decide your desired wrist measurement. You can either use a standard size, like a 7 or 8 inch for a woman, or you can measure your wrist and add about ½ an inch. I'm going to just do mine for 7 inches. Then what you're going to do is multiply that measurement by the number of wraps that you want. I'm just doing a single wrap, so that means that I want my bracelet to be 7 inches, and then you will subtract 1 inch for the clasp, which means that the number I'm going to work with is 6 inches. If I was going to do the double wrap, I would be doing 7 inches times 2 wraps is 14, minus 1 inch for the clasp. 13 inches would be my number. But for the single, like I said, we're going to work with 6 inches. So you're going to cut 2 pieces of waxed linen cord. You're going to cut 1 piece that is 10 times your measurement. So for my 6-inch bracelet, I'm going to cut 60 inches, which is 5 feet. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to cut another piece that is 4 times your measurement plus a foot. So 4 times 6 is 24, which is 2 feet. And then I want 1 more foot. Okay, now we're going to take your longer cord and you're going to string it through the button. If you have the button with a shank, you can just slide it right through. If you have the button with the holes, you just work it up through one and down through the other one. I like to have it in my finished bracelet. If you notice, it kind of almost has a cup shape. I like that facing up, so I'm going to hold it up when I thread my cords through. If you want it facing down, just hold it the other way. What you want to do is bring your ends even so that you have the center of the cord at the button. Then you're going to take the shorter cords, string one end through each hole of the button, and do exactly the same thing. So you want the center of both cords at the button, and then you want all 4 of the cord ends coming down. Separate the longer cords and get them to either side of the shorter cords, and hold that straight in a line so it doesn't have any twists in it for a few inches. Then we're going to make an overhand knot by putting our cord into a loop and pulling the button through the loop. You want to tighten that knot and pull it down so that it's about ½ an inch from the button. Okay, now we need to secure our work to our surface. So I'm just going to use a whole mess of tape. When you're taping, if you use tape, be very careful. You don't want your tape to come below the end of that knot there, because that's where we're going to have our knotting. So I've got my tape going just to the edge of the knot, but not past it. Try to make it as secure as you can. Now we're going to separate our cords, and you want to have the longer cords on the outside with the shorter cords to the center. And make sure that they don't have any twists. Okay, now hold the center two cords together. And with the waxed linen, you can actually get them to kind of stick together. You're going to use them pretty much as one through most of the knotting in this bracelet, so you can kind of stick them together and leave them. All right, now we're going to make macrame square knots. To do that, you take your left outside cord and you take it underneath the center cords. Then you take the right outside cord, bring it underneath that cord that you just had, over the center cords and through the loop on the left. Bring it down through that loop, and then grab both of the outside cords and pull to tighten. And you do want to also pull your center cords down. You don't want them to get twisted or get bunched up in there. So pull that up all the way to the knot. That's half of a square knot. Next, you're going to take your left cord and go over the center cords. Then you take the right cord and go over that, under the center cords, and up through the loop. Okay, pull that tight. And that is one square knot. It's important to alternate when you start taking your left cord under and over. If you just keep doing your knots the same way, they're going to twist, and that's a different kind of knotting. If you want nice square knots that sit flat, you need to alternate. So we're going to now make one more square knot. Take the left cord under the center, the right cord under that, over the center and down through the loop. And finish that square knot by taking the left cord over the center, take the right cord over that, under the center, and up through the loop. Okay, now we're going to add our first bead. So take one of the seed beads, holding your center cords together, slide the bead onto both cords and slide it up until it sits just below the last knot. Now we're going to make two more square knots. So take the left cord under, the right cord under, over, through. And you want to pull that nice and snug so that the cords sit flat to the sides of your bead. And then we're going to finish that square knot by going over, over, under, and through. And one more square knot here, under, under, over, and through. Over, over, under, and through. Okay, then we're going to add another bead. And slide it up under the knot. And you're going to keep adding one bead and then making two square knots. So under, under, over, through, over, over, under, and through. And we're going to make one more square knot here. Under, under, over, and through. And over, over, under, and through. So just continue adding a bead and two square knots until you've reached your desired length. So I'm going to keep doing that until I have 6 inches. When you have your knotting completed, you want to go ahead and move your work up the table, because now you're going to be working at the end. And if you're doing 2 or 3 wraps, you're probably going to need to do this as you work anyway. So go ahead and untape it, scooch it up, and tape it back down. And we want to, like I said, we want to make sure you're using masking tape or painter's tape or something that's not going to damage your bracelet if you're using tape. Like I said, you can also use a macrame board, a clipboard. You can even sometimes, if you're careful, you can safety pin it right to your pant leg. There's lots of little tricks for that. So whatever you find easiest. Okay, so now the reason that we cut an extra foot on our center cords was so that we would have a decent amount of cord left over when you're done with your knotting. So you should have about a foot on both of your center cords. Split your center cords, and now you have your 2 left cords and your 2 right cords. Take the left cords and just put them to the side. We're going to work with just the right cords for now. What we're going to do is use the center right cord to tie half hitch knots onto the outer right cord. Tying half hitch knots is very simple. We're going to now call this the left cord and that right cord. Take the left cord and lay it over the right cord with a bend so that it makes a number 4. Then you're just going to take the tail and bring it up through the loop. And then pull it up until it's snug. We're going to continue and make a whole strand of these knots. So bring it over and then bring the tail up through. You want to pull these nice and snug so that you don't have a lot of extra wasted cord in this part, because the looser you leave it, the more of this cord you're going to use up. These knots do tend to kind of twist around, spiral around. The good thing about the waxed linen cord is it's pretty moldable, so you can just pull it straight. If it starts getting twisted, just straighten it back out. You're going to continue until your half hitch knotted piece measures about 1.5 inches. And as it spirals around, just straighten it back out. And you can also kind of stretch it a little bit. You want to make sure you don't see gaps in your cords there, but as long as you don't see gaps, you can kind of get a little bit more out of it by pulling on it gently. So you want to measure from the very end of your knotting to the end of your half hitch knots, and you want about 1.5 inches. When you have that, go ahead and take your work off of your table. Now what we're going to do, fold that piece back, and right now you're just going to use your thumbnail to hold that down nice and tight. Take the button and make sure that fits. And if you need to add another half hitch knot or 2, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, if you're good, then what you're going to do, you want to lay down those cords of the half hitch knotted pieces parallel with the bracelet. Then you're going to take the other 2 cords and bring them around from the back to the front, and we're going to tie a surgeon's knot in these cords, and it's going to cover over these and kind of clamp them down. Now a surgeon's knot is just like a regular basic knot. On a regular knot, you take your cord and you bring it around through the loop. On a surgeon's knot, you're going to take that through one more time. You want to bring that right to the base of those other cords, and you want to pull it really snug. Then we're going to take our other tails here, wrap them around all the way and bring them back to this side. We want to keep our knots on one side, so you have one side that's cleaner, can be the front. Now we're going to make a surgeon's knot in these two cords. So again, you just bring your cord around and through the loop one more time. And then tighten that surgeon's knot. The waxed linen is pretty sticky and it's pretty moldable, and it will stick to itself and kind of glue those knots in. So you don't really need to use glue. All you do, trim the tails close to the knots, about 1/16 of an inch away. And do that on both sides. And then you're just going to use your fingers to squish the tails in. And you can see with that waxy finish, it just squishes right in and you don't see it. And then you have the nice clean wrapped side on the other side. And all you do is slide the button into the loop and you're all done.